This is just me. Why there is no in between. This ain't my scene, I beg my leave. My face ain't clean, this is just me. Some ways I lean, escaping green. I state my dream, not in between. This ain't my scene, I beg my leave. My face ain't clean, this is just me. Some ways I lean, escaping green. No in between.
This is just me. A sound, a style, a groove, a rhythm.
No in between.
I know you have to say what you're giving. I'll move on, yeah, I'll move on. 1 minute, then I'm gone. I'm gone. So this is just me. It's a sound, it's a style, it's a groove, it's a rhythm.
No in between.
I know you have to say what you're giving. I'll move on, yeah, I'll move on. 1 minute, then I'm 1 minute, then I'm
Just me, there's no in between. So
This is just me. A sound, a style, a groove, a rhythm. No in between. I know you have to say what you're giving.
Hi Facebook and YouTube. It is awesome to be here with you guys again today. I am Nastine. Peter is currently making our coffee because it is the coffee shop conversation show after all. And we are the founders of Explore ProTech. So we are here once again today in our favorite space, which is the coffee shop conversation show for entrepreneurs. We just open up the space for all of us, and it makes a place where entrepreneurs from around the world can just come and check in, meet up with each other, chat about something interesting that's guaranteed going to help you in your business career going forward. And we make some magic together. So welcome if you are joining us again today for this live. Just a reminder that we do this live every single week, same time, same place. So even if it's been a crappy week, if it's been the best week ever, whatever week it's been, the coffee shop show will be there for you on a Friday. You just come, you check in, you hang out with some awesome people, and it makes everything worthwhile. Welcome, Peter. Can you talk any softer?
I could talk softer, but then you wouldn't.
Okay. So anyway, today is going to be fabulous because today we're actually talking about something that I am freaking excited about. It is about joint ventures. So Cameron actually wrote to us and gave us the idea. She was like, you guys are always talking about all these different joint ventures. Like, I don't understand. How do you have so many of them going on at the same time?
It's an accident.
Do you have, like,
It just happened.
how does it even work? So we're going to be talking about that. So Cameron, thank you so much for writing to us. And this is going to be the hour where all of us that's on the Zoom today, so our tribe members, entrepreneurs from all around the world, we're going to be putting our heads together and chatting about this topic, and we'll try to give you as much value as possible.
And just remember that everybody here is from a different space, maybe from a different area of expertise. So what we're going to try and do is give as many different angles on the question as possible so that you have a very comprehensive answer.
Also, remember, if you spot someone you like, all of their LinkedIn links will be in the description below. So you can literally go and connect with all of these awesome people, and if some of them said something that made you think, or you just want to find out a bit more, go and connect, link up with them, and ask them to help you.
Because that's what they're here for.
So you're welcome. And remember to chat to each other in the chat, and just be friendly, have fun with this. This is a relaxed space, but we do some awesome business together here. Okay, so without further ado, shall we get started? So the question we're talking about again, how do you use joint ventures to grow your small business? Now, I feel like we should just give you like a little bit of background info here on Explore ProTech and how we've been doing it before we jump into the discussion. So, Peter, joint ventures. So,
Well, I mean, literally, Explore Project wasn't started with financial capital. It was started with human capital, human interaction, people. So when you're starting something from nothing and you have no finances, the only capital you can rely on is people. So surrounding yourself with the right people, being very selective and being very strategic, meeting the right people that can give you opportunities or people that you can give opportunities to, just as important. If there is a mutually beneficial relationship between two people where they are strong in a particular area that you're weak in, and you're strong in a particular area that they're weak in, you can benefit each other. You have just entered into a joint venture. Well, I mean, Explore Project started as one big joint adventure. You know, it's been a roller coaster ride of some of the most amazing people from around the world, all bringing their special talents to a tribe mentality, a space of business professionals that all work together. That is a joint adventure. We pull on each other's resources, and projects and ventures become so much simpler because we have the right people for the right job, and it benefits them and it benefits us. Magic happens.
now I just have to tell you, by the way, I like what you did there, a joint adventure. Like, seriously, we don't have joint ventures, guys. We have joint adventures in business. That's what they are. That's so cool. But I have to tell you, I tried this joint venture thing because I thought I was really smart and clever and I was going to grow my virtual audit firm this way. And I was bankrupted my business once. So, just for that sake, now you have a little bit of background info about, you know, what's going on in the Explore ProTech space and my personal experience. But now I want to put the spotlight squarely on our most amazing entrepreneurs from around the world and ask them. So, Stephen Levy, what are your thoughts on how do you use joint ventures to grow your business? Is it possible? Have you seen this in practice, or is it something that you steer clear of all the way?
No, I wouldn't say it's Ernestine and hello to you, and Peter, and Natalie, and Rita, and your listeners, and to who asked the question? Cameron.
Cameron.
And to Cameron. So I'm not a joint venture specialist. There are other people out there, but I can only share my experiences and my thoughts that were based on my experience. So I think a joint venture is it's a serious decision that one's got to take before you go into one, and understanding clearly why you're going into it. And I think it's very much it's not really different to a partnership, except for a few things. But it's also partnerships. One has to be very clear and specific about what you're going into your partnership, why you're going into a partnership, understanding your partners. So the joint venture is the same. Are your cultures the same? There's a lot of reward for going into a joint venture, but I think the big thing is why. Why are you doing it? And it could be, so my experience, I went into a joint venture in 1997 with a company. We were both in the same industry, and it wasn't really the reason for it wasn't because of our expertise that we could and pool our resources together. It was actually because the market was saturated. And we were in the button manufacturing business at that stage, not the drug buttons, because I would have been retired, the fashion buttons. And It was just in 1994 was when we really opened up to Chinese imports. And so it impacted the textile industry quite severely. And we were the two biggest button manufacturers. I was in Johannesburg, they were in Cape Town, and we had healthy competition. So we would chat to each other, we would help each other out where necessary, if need be. And then the market just became too small for all of us. So we decided to pool our resources together, and they had expertise in certain areas of manufacturing, and we had expertise. So we got together, and over months of chatting and discussion and back and forth, we merged our factories, and we moved our factory to Cape Town because they had better skill set on the manufacturing side of the button manufacturing. But not everything was disclosed. And so 18 months into it, we found ourselves in a little bit of a dwang. And so there was a big learning out of it. I think when you go into a joint venture, make sure that you do a lot of research and investigation and chat, and make sure that you are open and honest. Not that they weren't honest. I think it wasn't an intentional thing. There were things that weren't disclosed unintentionally on both sides. But it came back to bite the business. And that's unfortunately a bit of a problem. I'm not going to go in the whole story. We had people that bought out the business, so the business continued. But the lessons from that were just, you got to give real serious thought to that joint venture, and then make sure not only the financials, like what Peter said, it's not always for financial capital. Yes, you get more resource, but there's a lot of human capital as well that comes into that. Also check that your cultures are the same. So there's certain risks to going into a joint venture. It might not be like I experienced it. There wasn't 100% clear communication with everybody involved. So problem. Partners, this is not what we said, but partners could have different objectives for the joint venture. So both parties need to know why. And then just check the expertise level, and that everybody is happy with what they're bringing to the party. If you go into the joint venture on a 50-50 basis, you might bring more expertise than I do, but it doesn't mean now that you're going to get 60-40. So I think you've got to be very clear on the split, because often in partnerships with joint ventures, you say, oh, but I'm doing more work than you. And then after the fact, we start having those debates and arguments, and that could really derail the joint venture. Different management styles, cultures, I often talk about in business. It's very important to a business. It's also very important to the joint venture. Do we understand the two different cultures that we're putting together? Because in that you can derail the people, because if you're pooling your workforce, you could also cause a lot of problems in the workforce, and it's change for the workforce. So there are huge factors that contribute to this. It's not just let's do a joint venture because we can increase our market capacity, we have more distribution in terms of sales, we pool our expertise. There are other factors that have to be considered as well. So I think, it's a good thing done for the right reasons. I think it's a very rewarding thing done for the right reasons. And I just want to say, though, when you do it, rather take the time in the beginning, take more time in the beginning to sort out all these small details, if I can say. Well, they're not small, but all the detail, because it's going to cost you a lot less at the end. So, yeah, I think that's all I can kind of add right now, is that it was really the right thing to do. It was a good thing to do. But I would say that clear communication and so on was probably the downfall of it. One small thing.
And Stephen, I have to ask, because a little birdie whispered in my ear about this. Is Stephen Squared ever going to become an actual joint venture?
Watch this space.
I love it.
Actually pay close attention to, because there were in what you just said, Stephen, there were small warnings to people that they actually really need to pay attention to.
Yeah.
So when on a grand scale, you have a whole company and then you have another whole company and the two companies decide they're going to merge in this joint venture, there is a lot to take into consideration. You have to be careful. You have to find that balance. You have to be in line with the culture. There's so much you have to be careful of, and the communication has to be open. And those were the warnings. However, if you have a company and that company has parts to it, moving parts, and all those parts make a whole, you can very wisely go into joint ventures with little parts of your company, so that you're not stepping into some huge thing that if something goes wrong, you lose pretty much everything. So you can segment your business and you can go, in this particular area, I can go into a joint venture. And those kinds of joint ventures are joint ventures that you can actually, without hurting your brand or hurting your business, you can step away from and reposition. So so from that perspective, if you are stepping into something where it is two whole companies merging, do your homework. Know who you're getting into business with. Know their culture. Know what know what their staff turnover is. That says a lot about a company. It says a lot about their culture. It says a lot about who they are. Do your homework.
I mean,
Yeah.
I wouldn't really like just jump into a joint venture with the whole of its full ProTech, because that would mean that there are other people that get to
Make decisions
for our baby.
when I'm the boss.
A joint venture is extremely beneficial, done for the right reasons. Be it a whole company, be it 5 people. And Pete, if I can, and I'm just, because I'm sure other people want to chat, the one thing I did leave out, which we actually did tie up very well, was you need the structure of it must be very clear and well sorted, and bring in legal experts to make sure that the structure suits both parties. It's like a marriage, is that you structure it correctly, and hopefully you take the paper and you put it away in the drawer and you don't have to look at it again. But that paper serves so much value when you do have any sort of conflict or so on. It helps solve a lot of problems, because if you don't have it, egos get involved, and you can actually destroy a good business when that happens. So yeah, I think the legal structure, and what you said is, if you're going to bring in small parts of your business, even more so, then you must structure it so that only that part of your business is affected, and it gives you an exit strategy as well.
Yeah, 100%. Luckily, we have the best legal experts in the tribe, aka Penis. Anita.
Oh yes, Anita.
Kundamo from the US. Hi.
Sorry, and that's Stephen from Dare to Be Coaching and Beyond in Cape Town. Yes, I got that right.
Oh, very, very valuable information over there from our most amazing business coach. By the way, he's the person that helped us fall into all of these joint ventures. with parachute.
Stumble. Trip.
We were like, it's a lot of work to run a business. Like, don't you want to do it?
Christine, I've never heard you say that.
I know.
You ask those questions after you've done the business.
Okay, anyway, guys, that's enough of me. Rita, I'm super keen to hear from your perspective, because I know you're from the corporate accounting world, and you're also a coaching with heart coach. So I'm really keen to hear your perspective on joint ventures. How do you use them to grow a small business?
Nestine, if I have to go back to the corporate world on joint ventures, I probably will tell you not to go that way. It is just my experience out of the corporate world. But I think my experience from a coaching perspective is, and I want to go back to what Wolfgang said a couple of months ago, get 3 people next to you that can walk the road with you. And that is a joint venture. So what is a coach different to your joint venture? No difference. It is exactly the same thing. So why coaching? And it's weird that it's 3 coaches sitting here, but what am I worth in this joint venture? And am I prepared to walk the road with this joint venture, because there has to be some benefits for me out of it? And how do I get those benefits out? Now, I'm scaling it down to a very small portion. I'm not at the level that Stephen were, big companies and things like that. I'm talking about a joint venture between you and me as a coach. So why do you want to do this? Why do you want to ask help for a coach to help you? Surely it is probably to save time and money, because you can do it on your own, but it might take you ages to get where you want to go. And a coach just helps you to move faster than what you should have, or what you would have moved when you're on your own. And that's a joint venture. It could help you move faster if you've put all the right things into place. As Stephen said, make sure that everything, all the stuff is there. But even in a normal coaching situation, a one-to-one coaching, make sure that you've got all the things in place, that you understand what is your expectation and what is your coach's expectation in this joint venture. Because if that's not if that's a miscommunication, then it's not going to work. So make sure that the communication is there. Make sure that the right person is there. Because change is and Stephen touched on that. Change is difficult. Change is the unknown. It's the thing that human beings don't like. So doesn't matter if it's on a big scale or a small scale, we just don't like it. There's always a basis of fear involved that makes us very uncomfortable. And we need to direct that and say, listen, okay, I understand that there's some fear involved. I understand that there's some unknown involved, but hopefully with this and this and this and this, we will get there. And in the bigger scheme of things, like Stephen said, exactly that, make sure that your legal stuff is there. On a one-to-one coaching basis, make sure your legal stuff is there. Make sure that everything is in place. And that's from my side, really. Just it is joint venture for me is my path that I walk with my client, helping him or her to get where they want. And it doesn't matter if it's a big corporate or a small business. That's Rita Skuman, coaching from heart.
Rita, you know the whole theory of the hammer and the nail, where you hit the nail on the head every time. Thank you very much. I actually, something that comes to mind is that if you look at sports, and Stephen Levy will be jumping up and down because I know that he loves the sport. You've got different sports. For different sports, you have different coaches. If you find a coach that says he coaches all sport, you're with the wrong coach. If you come across a coach that specializes in a particular area, and they can assist you in that area, and the moment you grow, they know exactly where you need to be and who you need to speak to go to the next level, that is your coach. Because their main goal is you. So if you have a coach and in a particular area in business and they are helping you grow, and you get to that point where you've grown to capacity, if that coach is holding on to you, they're going to keep you there. If that coach can guide you to the next steps as to where you need to go and who you need to speak to go to the next level, then you are on the right road. Now, the nice thing about this is that when you have groups of coaches that have formed relationships with each other and know each other and know each other's strengths, know where they specialize, know exactly what they're doing, and they trust each other to function within that space, they are literally going, I am assisting you with this, and we are going to help you to this point, and we are going to get you there. When you are there, you know what? You need to go and speak to this person, because they can take you from where we are now to where you're going. Coaches are they specialize. And when it comes to a joint venture, if we look at Explore ProTech, we would not be here at all. Zero, zip, nada, nil. What's less than nothing? Nothing.
6 foot on the ground.
We would not exist. We have been through journeys with coaches, and all of you guys can actually attest to that. You can, because a lot of you have been part of our journey. Some from the beginning, some from halfway, some from very recently, but they are all part of the journey. Do yourself a favor. Reach out. If you are stuck in a particular area and you don't know which way to go, the answer's right in front of you.
Also, if you can't figure out how to grow your business through a joint venture, because I guarantee you it can be done. It just takes a little bit of creative problem solving. Get yourself one of these coaches, because they can probably help you identify it. So it's just about looking at your business, looking at all the functions. Like, think of your business as a human body. It has limbs, it has hands, it has hopefully a mind, so it doesn't act like Peter. But each part of that you can kind of take, and you can be like, okay, well, the arm isn't like that essential to what I'm doing right now. I can either outsource that or I can joint venture it. And then what happens is you kind of like give so much of the responsibility of some pieces of your business away that you're left with just this freaking strategy, which means 100% of the time you get to work on your business.
Not in it.
And that makes the difference. So even if you think you're stuck and you're in a space where it just can't be done, I can guarantee you it is possible to put joint ventures in place in the right place, or to put to outsource, to do something in terms of strategy to make sure that you're actually making money and building away from yourself and building more than just a job for yourself. So on that note, I am super keen to hear from one of our newest tribe members, Natalie. Please tell us, what is your take on joint ventures? Yes or no? Can you use them to grow your small business? How would you even do that?
Okay, I can leverage both my corporate experience as the foundation of my career in sales support, and since 2005 within the space of strategic marketing and business consulting for small businesses and mid-tier. So predominantly within bid management and project management, I look at it from the perspective of, if I want to put forward a bid to someone, I have a VA or a joint venture partner, I can offer more to the tender. I can offer more to the client space. You know, I can use my credibility and the credibility that other businesses have already created for themselves to gain trust with the clients that I'm bidding towards. I can also use their capabilities to add to what I have, where I might have a good range of suppliers and tools and equipment. I may be able to use their capacity with regards to resources and commodities. Maybe their supplier relationships are stronger in areas that I haven't even got a supplier yet. They've already got buyers in place. They've already created facilitators that can help you to leverage extra sort of buyers or suppliers, depending on what you need. And just to build on what everybody else has said, really, your contracts. You need to have back-to-back contracts depending on where you are in your cycle. Make sure that you've got your suppliers in place, your subcontract relationships set up, and then your joint ventures can work. But you're going to make sure that you manage the process from the start to the end. You've got measurements in place, you've got your change management protocols in place, and you've got proper administration measurements. So you know who's delivering what, they're feeding back to you every single day, and you know exactly how far they are with delivery. That way you're able to change the project or exit someone that is not working and get the next person on board faster. You know, feedback loops are imperative. So, you know, more than that, joint venture partners are the bomb. I have used them all the way through my career. And I definitely think they're an imperative part of your life. You know, and that's from my space as a business consultant and head life coach of Just Be Coaching Company in Johannesburg, South Africa.
Well done, Natalie! And that is Natalie Clark's debut on the Coffee Shop Conversation Show. What an awesome debut.
Well, there's something that was mentioned. Not every joint venture is going to work. It's guaranteed. Guaranteed. Not every joint venture is going to work. There are a few things that you learn when you go into a joint venture. The person that you're going into a joint venture, you get to know them a whole lot better, whether it works or whether it doesn't work. Keep relationships solid. Never burn a bridge, never destroy a relationship unless it's from the other side and it's intentional. Always make sure you keep relationships, because even if a joint venture does not work and you understand why it did not work, there may be another space where exactly the same person would be more beneficial in a different space. Never, ever, ever destroy relationships. It is soul destroy. Keep relationships strong. At the end of the day, the more, I mean, you can do cold-hearted business and you can have cold-hearted contracts and you can have, but if you've got no heart in it, you don't really know the person. Yes, have your contracts. Yes, have all your procedures. Those are essential. But do yourself a favor, be human. Get to know who you are doing business with. It will save you and the person that you're in joint venture with a whole lot of heartache, and probably would be a whole lot more beneficial if you understand that person and that person understands you. So keep the relationships thriving.
That's the one thing I didn't do when I did joint ventures outside of Explore ProTech. I did not understand the importance of relationships. So I was working with people where I literally found them. It was introduced to them. They would pitch to me. I would accept. We would negotiate, and it never worked.
They would not do, and the investors will pay.
Yeah. That's the way to
Christine.
not do it.
Sorry, can I jump in here? And I think what Peter said is the relationship part of it is important. And I actually want to break it down to a relationship with yourself. And do you understand yourself? And sometimes we've got this goal of, that's where I want to go. This thing has to work. But we all know that life is not a linear line. It is ups and downs. And sometimes we are so rigid in the way that we cannot accept the up and down. We are so attached to the outcome that we actually forgot to enjoy the journey, and the ups and downs are part of the journey. So, and that's the relationship, not well with yourself, but also with all the other people around you.
Yeah, Rita, if I'm not mistaken, this reminds me of a little thing I once saw called Dating Yourself with Rita Skuman. That whole process.
Say that again.
Do you recall the statement, Dating Yourself with
Oh.
Rita Skuman?
Oh, yeah, well, do that and you will understand how well you know yourself.
I think people seem to underestimate the power of not only knowing, I mean, even if it's a battle, knowing your opponent is a good way to go about a battle. Knowing yourself is an even better way to be prepared. So, I think people underestimate the power of actually getting to know themselves and who they are, just from a positioning perspective, and what you will do and what you won't do, and having that line. So if you haven't actually checked out Dating Yourself with Rita Skuman, do yourself a favor and get to know yourself a little better.
I am loving today. I am learning so much. Stephen, let's have a quick comment, and then I want to also hear from Joshua.
Okay, should we let Joshua go first? Mine's just overall things I want to just contribute from listening, and some things have come to mind. So,
I think go for it. We can have
Okay.
Joshua straight after you.
So, I think listening to joint venture is a very broad term. So how you go into it, be it in a corporate, be it you're merging two big companies, be it in the space that Rita alluded to, in the coaching space, there's a big thing is the element of trust. And I think be it a meeting to discuss a merging of two companies, be it a meeting to initiate or engage in a coaching client relationship, the first meeting or the first session or sessions are so important. It's probably the most important meeting you'll have in that whole process. And Natalie and I were talking about it the other day, I think it was even yesterday, is about like this discovery session within the coaching space. And I'm talking about this can happen, the concept is the same. It's so important. So I feel like I know I have a 45-minute discovery session, which has never taken 45 minutes. So it's either 90-minute, 45-minute discovery session, which is not good, or it's not always good, but the objective of it is to understand that I understand my client's expectations. So the same thing in a joint venture. We need to understand each other. They understand my process and how can it help them through to get where they want to go. And most importantly, that within that space, we can feel whether there's a rapport or not, if we open, honest with ourselves and each other. And if there's doubt, bring it up now, have the tough conversation, because it's going to be freaking tougher later if you don't. So that first meeting, whether you're in the merging two companies, whether you're in the client coaching space, whatever that space is, we're going to do something together. Spend time there, because it could save you a lot of time, cost, and mess at the end. So I think that's, and any business, be it a joint venture or on your own, is a risk. There are risks involved. Rita said that the ups and downs, you can call them whatever they're risky. That first session also, that first meeting, will help you reduce the risk. So you can mitigate the risk as much as possible. You cannot take it away, but you can mitigate it. So spend time there. And then another thing is, which I'm sure Rita, she coaches with heart, is trust your gut. If you don't feel something is right, don't go into it, question it. Even if the other party is if you feel they're not going to be happy with it, it doesn't matter. Rather than let them not be happy with the question and tackle it now, then, excuse my language, and be pissed off after you've signed the contract. That's going to be a mess.
I mean, I have to say, like, the people that we've entered into joint venture agreements with, we've been seeing for the past year to year and a half, every single week, sometimes 3 times a week, before we were ready to actually let them into our business and start joint ventures. So I don't think you can underestimate the amount of relationship building that is actually necessary for a successful joint venture.
You also can't underestimate the amount of trust that there is within this space, not only between us and the people we step into joint ventures with, but the people within the space and each other. Very important.
I paid the price for that. In this joint venture, not with the people I did the joint venture, but with the people that bought it out. Also, we had long meetings and so on. And I'll never forget the first meeting. I nearly leaned across the boardroom table to hit the guy, but I didn't, because I'm a lover, not a fighter. And no, but and I should have listened to that. Okay, that should have been assigned to me. But anyway, 2 years later, that's what made me start. So there was good that came out of it. It made me start my own business, because I actually walked out of there because I got home and my wife said to me, "What are you doing at home?" And I said, "There's one thing that is never ever for sale, and that's my values." But I should have picked that up then. Okay, so yes, the rest is another story, and it actually turned out well for me, but it wasn't without a challenge and fights. But yeah, so that's what I say. Just ask everything. If you've got to delay it by a month or 2, delay it until you feel both ready. Anyway, that's enough for me.
We don't even do business with people that aren't Explore ProTech members. Like for at least, I think, like 6 months ago. It's just, I don't feel safe to do business with anyone else.
Well,
Because those are people I see every single week. Like, I know them.
well, I mean, I think the general consensus out there, if you look at business, is you find somebody that does something that you don't, and it's a skill that you need, and you just search for them, you find them, you're like, hey, let's do this together. You don't know who they are. You don't know what their values are. For all you know, you could lose everything you have within
The next
two
week.
signed contracts.
Okay, guys, we have to hear from Joshua. So on that note, let's go to the US. Go pop into the US and say hi to our Joshua. Joshua, are you frozen or are you there? You're there!
Do you want to build a snowman?
I was very coherent on everything. I was listening.
Josh, just move your face into the camera so we can see your face. And then tell us, joint venture, yay or nay? Can you use them to build your small business?
The more opportunities rise for you. But of course, you have to understand when it comes to having a business venture, a mutual business venture, you have to have some level of mutualism involved, which means you have to have like a you have to have like a like basically like-minded individuals. You have to have a common goal. Basically, typically people only have these business ventures is, that is basically, how do y'all initiate, how they start. If for example, how Nestine and them reached out to me, my whole business is based on helping others, and their business is based on helping business owners, so of course, I mean, I do the same thing. I help business owners. I make it easier for them. I provide education free education, even to where I could teach people how to become digital literate, digital marketing, how to start business online with Google Workspace, completely free. And I have a partnership with Google for Education because of that. They let me use their software. They let me use their curriculum. They let me utilize all of that because we have a similarity into, a bigger picture, basically. So, with even though it's not the entire company, Google for Education, but someone that I, came to partnership wise in their department, what I said to them resonated with them. And that literally opened up an avenue, opened up opportunities, opened up a resource for me to use to where now I can continue doing my work. So understand that every choice, life is based on choices and decisions. It's not about what you should have, could have, or would have done. It's about what you're going to do next. And be sure to be wise about what you're doing next. And be sure to always have some level of genuineness about it. Be genuine about what you're doing. Have nothing but positive. Be the forefront or the drive about what you want to do with your business, because technically corporate America, especially in the United States, they built businesses and they were like cutthroat. So they didn't care about others. They just cared about making money. But me, I like the model of B corporations. B corporations, that's the new way of doing business. And it's a very, I think it's genius. It's investing in the betterment of a particular audience or a group within the community so they can better themselves, so we can all, be economically stable and have an environment to where it's tailored towards, it's as a collective in a way, you're doing it's all about helping one another, that's all, but business always have the mindset and the goal and the mission, your statement, everything tailored towards, bettering yourself, bettering others, just being a better person. I became a better person, I feel like, since I started my business. I'm going to say I was a mean individual, but I, maybe slightly bitter, but ever since I took this venture now with my own business, I manifested into someone that's like, instead of waiting for something to happen, I'm doing something about it. It motivated me to do that. It gave me the confidence, and confidence is one of the most complicating subjects to ever. I feel like it's the most complicating subject, honestly, because people have the confidence. They don't realize that it could just take a simple view, word, action, occurrence, whatever, to spark that confidence within them. And you have to understand, like, think about this, guys. Confidence can literally open up a whole nother realm within an individual. The minute you build someone's confidence up, their entire life can go in completely left. And it'd be something that they have never had an interest in. Like myself, I never had an interest in digital marketing. I never wanted to own a web hosting company. I never had, I started a business in that matter, none of it. And literally when the pandemic came and someone asked me to be their IT administrator for their business as a general contracting business, I guess I was the most savvy when it comes to computers out of the entire group. But really, I played video games. So I'm like, well, I guess, we can leverage, we can go with that. Hey, he knows how to play an Xbox and PS4. He can work a computer. Well, by golly, look what that happened. I own a web hosting company now. I play all the games. I have nothing but games. But no, like, this is on a serious note, it's that this journey has been quite a journey for me, and I'm still learning as I'm going, but in the direction I'm going, it's getting brighter and brighter. And not just for me, it's just for those that are, I'm in cahoots with. I don't have a single employee, but now I have collaborators, like literally my client, mind you, she's 65 years old. She's the oldest of all of them, of my students and my clients. She's 65 years old. 65-year-old Black woman that owns her own health, life, and mortgage insurance agency, but she's independent. She came to me about social media marketing. She had no clue, etc. I said, well, if you want to learn how to do social media, we have to go through all the other things as well, because you can't just learn just social media, because you require all the other services: reputation management, listing building, email marketing, a website. These are all towards digital marketing. You can't just go with social media and just leave it at that. You have to literally incorporate the rest of them, or else you're just going to be stuck. Now you know social media. Now what? You just know social media. There's more to your business than just social media. There's content marketing. You guys know this. But anyways, but no, every time we have a virtual meeting or consultation, she knows how to do things on her own now. I thought it was a challenge. I thought this was going to be a challenge. Me, a 29-year-old, teaching a 65-year-old Black woman. First of all, they know all the answers. I'm sorry. They know all the answers. They do. You can't tell a Black woman in America nothing, especially at that age. There's period. And it's already said, women, you mentally are, quicker than us. But I was just like, I don't think I'm going to be able to do this. And by golly, me teaching her and being able to teach her, and, the way I'm teaching her, I'm learning something out of it as well. So it's like mentor, master, apprentice, whatever. Technically, you're both individuals are both the apprentices. They're both the masters, because we have something to show and teach each other. And we both have to reciprocate or, take in what we're learning. Everything's a learning experience. So always remember this: if you're going to have a business venture with any other business, be sure you know what business you're going to venture in with, because you can't just jump in every chance you get just because another business says, "Oh, we like ponies and unicorns as well. Let's go into business together." No. What if I like my ponies to be purple and pink with, you get what I'm saying? It's just you just got to be careful. Don't sell yourself short. Don't ever sell yourself short. And always remember, it's all about what you want to do and how you want to do it. And if they're wanting to be involved with it and help you pursue it and help you grow with that, there you are. People that come to you and reach out to you, those are the ones you should definitely consider, especially if they're consistent.
Thank you so much, Joshua. That was awesome.
Sorry, I did have a whole speech there. My apologies. It was a very touchy subject. Like I said, I'm like a success story with this particular subject. I'm not gonna lie. I'm like solutions partnered with 10 other companies, basically branded top digital brands, etc. But I am a consultant within each one, and we're doing this projects together. And there's stay tuned. That's all I'm going to say every time after a show. Stay tuned.
That is freaking fabulous. I absolutely adore it. And so that is Joshua from.
Oh yeah, I forgot where I was for a second. I realized I was on another planet. United States, Indiana, Indianapolis. Who's your web host? Your host, your digital solution. Who's your web host?
Awesome. Thank you so much, guys. And on that note, so basically what you got to remember is if you're going to be in groups with someone, play video games. I'm so glad that we could help you today. And
Joshua just saying, Modern Warfare, new Battlefield coming out.
see you there. Anyway, guys, that is our wrap today for the coffee shop show. This has been all of us from the Explore ProTech tribe trying to help you with figuring out how to use joint ventures to grow your actual small business. If you like any of the people that you saw on the screen, remember to connect with them. And then more important than that, remember to come back here every single week, hang out in the live chat to each other, chat with us. this is your space where if it went really bad for 1 week, you know, at least you have somewhere to come where people will cheer you up and give you something that will help your business going forward. And this is also your space for if you've been owning the world and you want to share that success with someone, you have a place to come to and people to share it with. So we're starting this movement, and this is the space for entrepreneurs to be. Come hang out with us every single week, same time, every Friday. We love you guys so much. We hope we helped. And let us know in the comments down below, what's your take on joint ventures? Do you have more than Smarties? Or are you like, no, go the other way when someone says joint venture? Maybe you have joint adventures like Peter. We want to know and let you tell us in the comments.
And as well as if, you know, if there's questions that you have that you need answered, this is the space you can get them answered. So reach out, post those questions. Let's see what we can do about it.
Remember to like and subscribe and share this episode, and we will see you again next time. Love you lots from all of us at Explore ProTech. See you next time. May all your wildest entrepreneurial dreams come